Hello, welcome to our weekly music show on Encore. Coming up. They've been called the cornerstone of the French pop music scene. They're selling out Paris music venues with 70s space disco and downtempo 90s synth pop mixed with their own 21st century twist. After 6 years together, they've released their first album, Matahari, and this summer they're playing the festival circuit. Let's meet l'Empress. The founder of the group, Charles de Boisséguin, and the singer, Flore Benguigui, join me in the studio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Now, you've had very successful singles, music videos, sold-out gigs. You've got the fans. So you've only just brought out your first album. Tell us about this strategy, 6 years together and first album only now.
Well, it takes a lot of time to do an album, actually. And we released 3 EPs, but we didn't feel that we were, just waiting for the album. We were constantly creating and playing shows. So it was very natural for us to come to that point, finally. And it was a lot of work and a lot of investment financially and also in time. So, yeah, it was pretty short for us. I mean, I don't feel it was that long, but I mean, I wasn't there since the beginning. So.
But we took our time, I mean, and the matter is, what is an album today? Is it useful? Because of the streaming and stuff, people are just listening to a few tracks, few songs, and what is the meaning of an album? Okay. So we decided to release it because it's a big step in the history of the band. But yeah.
And the title is Matahari. Matahari, of course, was a Dutch exotic dancer who was executed for being a German spy in the First World War. What does that title say about the album?
It several things. I mean, first of all, there's the fantasy also of the woman, because we like the idea of not naming l'Impératrice. Naming her but not giving the real face.
She's empress. Imperatrice is empress in English.
Yeah, sorry. And so the previous EPs, they all had this shadow of a character, but not very defining. They were not really defining the face of the Impératrice. And so Matahari was also a way to put a name, but not really an image, because she was a girl that we didn't really know about, because she's been lying all her life. So that was the first thing. And also, there's also the fact that she's got multiple identities as a dancer, as a spy, as a
courtesan.
Courtesan. So that reflects also the fact that in our band we all have a lot of identities, musical identities, and so that characters reveal that a little bit.
Well, we're going to play your most recent video. It's called Paris. Can you introduce it for us?
It's a song about Paris. I mean, it was against the idea that Paris is a beautiful city, like a postal card. And when you're living in Paris, you know that it's a really mean city.
Okay, yeah. Let's take a look. This is Paris. Now, you're very inspired by cinema. You can see that just by looking at the music video. For the cover of Matahari, the inspiration was LA Noir, as seen in films such as Body Double and Chinatown. You're also inspired by French film composers like François de Roubaix and Michel Legrand for your sound. Is there a particular film that inspires you for your music?
Oh,
Or several?
Yeah, several, I'd say. I particularly love Quentin Tarantino's movie because of it's really how do you say that?
It brings, I guess he is able to mix a lot of influences in his cinema and music-wise too. So that's what we want to do with our music, but he's doing it with cinema, and that's the most interesting thing. It's mixing pop cultures with all the reference, like
Other cultural references.
yeah, exactly, and the slasher and all these horror movies, and yeah, for us that mix is very interesting, and that's what we want to do with our music.
You don't want to be one particular genre.
No, I mean in music, it's annoying if you just want one type of music. The good thing now that we are gathering all these musicians, because in the band we have musicians that come from classical music, from baroque music, from rock music. I come from jazz, and Charles comes from disco funk music. So all these references all together, it makes something special.
And you asked, the 6 of you in the group, only 2 of you are here today, but you're the only woman.
Exactly.
How does that work?
Oh, I mean, it's always like that in the music industry. There's a lot of boys, and all the girls are basically singers. So I'm pretty used to that, and it's great in a way because I think I bring something different then to the band, coming with probably the female sensibility. But no, it's great. They're nice to me.
I'm glad to hear it. And you've been playing the festival circuit. You're going on to have a very busy month of July. You were at Solidays last weekend. What was that like?
Oh, it was like a football match, with like thousand people, and really, yeah, just really enjoying our music. It was crazy.
Yeah,
just a festival. It's weird because you don't know if all the people know you, and you have to just gather them. Yeah, it's a bit difficult, but
it was a success by the sounds of it.
Yeah, and the energy is all these people giving you just love. It's so powerful. We were still a bit emotional today. It was yesterday, so.
Okay, well, thanks very much for coming in and talking to us. We're going to have a look at the week's music news now. We're going to start with the English indie rock band Florence and the Machine and the release of their 4th studio album this week. It's called High as Hope. The striking video for Big God off the record has been called one of the band's best ever. Florence Welsh told the New York Times the track was mainly about someone not replying to a text message she sent. Let's take a listen. Need a big God. And next, we're going to move on to a Michael Jackson exhibition that's taking place in London. I know the King of Pop influences you. Tell us about that.
I mean, who doesn't like Michael Jackson? He's been, of course, a big influence for us in his way that he creates the whole pop industry basically, and it's impressive to see how today French artists are really. I think about Christine and the Queens, for example. That for me is really, she wants to be the new Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
obviously,
she's really close.
She's really close to him in a way. I won't say we've got that much. I mean, I can't dance like her, and like him. But of course, his music influenced.
Yeah, for me, it's more a matter of production and sound.
Yeah.
And to me, Michael Jackson is Quincy Jones. It's like the producer who made the song of Michael Jackson, and it's more of the funk and disco music than pop music. To me, it's really weird to say Michael Jackson was the king of pop, you know.
Okay,
What is
that's
pop?
interesting.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also the way he influenced the music clips and how
Yeah.
you know it was different after Thriller and after what Michael Jackson did with his clips. So we would love to do something like that, I guess.
Okay, well, his significance is widely acknowledged when it comes to music, dance, choreography, and fashion. But his influence on contemporary art is a bit of an untold story. A landmark exhibition called Michael Jackson on the Wall opens at the National Portrait Gallery in London this week. It shows how 40 artists, from Andy Warhol to Jeff Koons, have taken inspiration from the King of Pop. The exhibition is on in London until October, when it'll move to Paris's Grand Palais. Well, now we're going to move on to some gigs in Paris, and Ziggy Marley will be at the Élysée Montmartre on the 30th of June. The son of Bob Marley released his 7th solo studio album, Rebellion Rises, last month. The 8-time Grammy-winning reggae artist is touring the festival circuit this summer before going on the road in the States and Canada. This is the title track of the new album.
Rebellion rises, rebellion rises, everywhere I go. Rebellion rises, walks of life, let's stand together, dance all night with each other. Love is his weakness, the system I protest.
Now, we're obviously in the midst of the World Cup. Are you fans of football?
She is.
No, I'm afraid I'm not. But all the boys of the band and Charles, they are.
Of course we are.
Is there a song that comes to mind when we think about football in France?
I will survive.
I Will Survive. Of course, Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive became the anthem for the French team when they won the World Cup in 1998. We're interviewing her at the end of the week as she's performing in Paris at the Trianon and then at the Trélizé Festival in the Loire Valley at the weekend before touring Europe and the United States. And we're going to leave you with some Gloria Gaynor. Charles and Flo from L'Impératrice, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Your album is called Matahari and you're touring the French festival circuit this summer. Remember our website. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and online at Evening in Paris. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.